Welcome to official SL TV channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my video and press the red button. Please help me to share my video.
Presentation of Dr. Richard Konteh as keynote.
The Franciscans can sing no difference in Christ that counts. Sister that heals you.
Live on stage is Dr. Richard Konteh as keynote speaker of the Ministry of Education and Academic Affairs in collaboration with the Unimak Debating Council debate for 2025 final live now at the University of Makeni, Unimak, as today now the 17th of May 2025. Me way they behind the mic, they do the recording. Me na PRO SAMURA as Dr. Richard Konteh dey on stage now as the inviter as a keynote speaker na the interdepartmental debate of the University of Makeni 2025 SRC today na final. Me na PRO SAMURA.
Good evening. I want to start by saluting the revered learned judges. You know, you people always say everybody else is not learned. But when you study law, then you are learned. So please, I ask for your permission, a non-learned man, to speak in front of you. Do I have your approval? Mr. President of the SRC, members of the Unimak Debating Society, and all those that have taken part in the competition here this evening, my dear debaters, distinguished students of Unimak, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say I'm very happy to be here today and to have this opportunity to speak on this very important day as you, the students, on your own and based upon your own decisions, have chosen to have this occasion and to ask me to speak on a very confusing topic. It says the intersection of artificial intelligence, empowerment, human capital development, education, and environmental stewardship in economic progress and sustainable development. When I first listened to this topic, when I first read it, I said to myself, where do I start and where do I end? But then I said, okay, let me try to be very practical, very down to earth, and not necessarily very academic. I said, why not first of all talk about the occasion? It's an occasion in which you are having the finals for your debate. Interestingly, when I was in secondary school, in my village, Bendembu, after I left St. Francis, I was actually the head of the Literary and Debating Society. And as a small boy then, a teenager then, I had the daunting task of coordinating debates among students. So therefore for me, coming here today to see university students debate, it's very interesting. And you may wish to know that I was also a lecturer before for 5 years, and I also taught in a secondary school for 4 years, 2 of which was as an untrained and unqualified teacher. So I've seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so it's always a privilege for me to say I'm deeply honored and privileged to be here today to speak to all of you. I want us to know that debate is not just about winning. Today you are going to compete. Some of you will leave here with trophies. Some will leave here with cash. Some will leave here with nothing. But it's an opportunity for you to see how you can shape the minds of people. Because people are coming here with different perspectives. And when you are debating, it's an opportunity for you to get people to see things from your own perspective. Sometimes you may respectfully disagree. But in each case, you have to be patient to listen to divergent views, some of which you may not even agree with. By the end of the day, we'll find a common ground. You should therefore see this opportunity to compete as an opportunity to learn and to grow.
Now, Dr. Richard Konteh live at the University of Makeni, Unimak as student at the 17th.
I want to state that there are moments where when you compete, you are actually achieving a big milestone. To even get to the finals like this is already an achievement. But please note that it is just the beginning of many more opportunities you may have. Some of you may end up in parliament, representing your people, and you will have to be debating all the time. Some of you may end up in courts as lawyers, and you may have to be engaged in discussions, in healthy academic debates. So as you become the deserving winners here today of this debate, I challenge you to be courageous, to be kind, and to be helpful. Let your actions speak louder than your words and make a positive impact on all of us around here, especially your colleagues. Looking back, I remember the challenges I faced, the late nights I spent studying, and the moments of doubt that crept in. I also remember in my student days the laughter we shared. And you may wish to know that it was actually in my first year in the university that I joined the SRC at Jala University. These memories and experiences have shaped me into what I am today. Beyond the academic setting, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the importance of debate extends beyond real-world expectations. It helps to shape future leaders, future policymakers, and professionals. So when I look at this topic, I want to start by talking about artificial intelligence and what it actually means. We often hear about artificial intelligence spoken about all over the place, but what does it actually mean? Some people define it as a simulation exercise. Under normal circumstances, human beings did everything. Human beings did all the calculations. Before the computer, the human being was doing all the calculations. During our days in school, we had different types of gadgets we were using. Then came the computer. But now, even the computer is not good enough. Artificial intelligence is setting in, and they are now trying to see how machines can be used to mimic human intelligence. And want to see how they can use these machines to do those things that we would normally do with our own human beings. It is actually an attempt to replace human beings. If we are not careful with artificial intelligence, we might not need men in the workplace. And even for education, artificial intelligence sometimes can be a disservice to education. Because with artificial intelligence, you really do not need to study. Because whatever problem you have, it can solve. Before coming here, I was discussing with a friend in Canada. And she said, Richard, do you know that with AI, you can actually ask them any question and they will tell you how to do it. For example, he said, since you are a politician, you can use AI to tell you how to win the next election, and they will tell you. You can even use AI to ask how to rob a bank, and it will tell you how to rob a bank. And for many of you, when you are giving your essays, you also use AI to give you all of the answers. AI actually enables computers to perform tasks that typically would require human intelligence. Whether it's about learning, it's about problem solving, it's about decision making, it's about creativity, all of those things are now done by AI. So if we look at the 5 issues, they say 1, AI simulates human intelligence. What does it mean? It means it creates systems that can think and act in ways similar to humans. It creates means by which those things that would normally be done by a human being are done by machines. It goes beyond even robotic technology. It talks about learning and adaptation. You can move from data and to improve performances over time, and it will help you adapt to new situations. It will help you solve problems, help you perform tasks and recognize patterns, and even make predictions or understand natural language. It is used in diverse fields, including healthcare, finance, transportation, etc. In any field whatsoever, you can use AI. So if you are talking about human capital development, as your topic here requires, Then we need to look at whether the curriculum that we have in our country today, Sierra Leone, whether that curriculum is fit for the 21st century. We need to ask ourselves that in this day and age of AI, is the curriculum we have in Sierra Leone suitable for the times? So if we want to look at the future for our country, the future for our youths, then we have to start by reviewing our curriculum. We have to start by looking at whether the curriculum we have is actually suitable for our times. When we talk about free quality education, which is what this government prides itself in, the question I would ask is our educational system actually free? And does it have any quality? I must confess that I've been very impressed this evening listening to students of Unimak. I think you need to clap for yourselves because I'm really impressed by the way in which you have performed so far. But I want to tell you that I'm also aware of the sufferings many of you are going through as you struggle to go through your academic areas. I am aware that if we want to have free quality education, it goes beyond just lip service. It has to do with creating the conducive environment for teaching and learning to take place. It means you have the infrastructure, you have the chairs, you have the buildings, you have the lecturers. It means you have the equipment to work with, but you have the ambience within which you are going to work. But more important, it also means that the students are also given an opportunity to learn. I'm aware that many students drop out of university today because their parents cannot pay their fees. Many students. I'm sure even in this room, there are so many students that are yet to pay their fees. And that is simply not sustainable. If we are to have free quality education, or if we believe in human capital development, if we believe that to build the youth of tomorrow, we have to give them an unfettered opportunity to actualize their potentials, we have to ensure that they can go through university without having the pain of dropping out of university because their fathers or mothers cannot pay for them. You would recall that during the days of Ernest Bai Koroma, government subsidized fees for all universities by up to 75 to 80%. All students in public universities. University of Makeni is not a public university. It's a private university. But I believe that the students in Unimak are Sierra Leoneans. And because they are Sierra Leoneans, in the same way that we decided to support Nixon Memorial Hospital, even though it was not a government hospital. In the same way we supported Mabente, even though it was not a government hospital. In the same way we supported Kamakwe Western Hospital, even though it was not a government hospital. I believe in the same way we have to support the University of Makeni. That is why we are saying, when we come back to power in 2028, When we come back to power in 2028, and when Dr. Richard Konteh becomes president in 2028, we are going to introduce a loan scheme for all students attending tertiary institutions in Sierra Leone. Listen and listen carefully and hold me accountable for my words. When I, Richard Konteh, become president, there will be a loan scheme for all students entering tertiary institutions in this country and whose parents are not rich enough to afford the fees. All you have to do is pass your WASSCE and get your admission into a tertiary institution. Then you will have an opportunity to go online and apply. You don't need a guarantor, you don't need a sponsor. You apply online. All you need is a Sierra Leonean passport or a national identity number. You apply online, you attach your admission letter. The money, the grant is approved, loan is approved, and government, through the commercial bank, will pay the money directly to the university. No money will be given to any student. The money will be paid directly to the university. You may not require to pay back the money, but you have to serve after you graduate. You have to serve after you graduate in this country. And when you serve for a number of years, the entire loan is waived. So there will be no more something like that in aid that you have to apply for. No, you apply for the loan, and the only reason why we call it a loan is for you to take it seriously and to know that you have a responsibility. However, if you fail, that facility will be withdrawn from you. You must not fail. If you fail, it is withdrawn from you. And I hope that for some of you, you will now benefit maybe at the level of your master's or your doctoral programs. But because we believe in human capital development, we also do not believe that everybody has to go through the grammar school type of education. No. Not everybody has to go through university, become a lawyer, become a doctor. No. We have to establish vocational institutes all over the country where people can go train and specialize in different things, depending on your own choice. And when you graduate, government will provide you with startup kits and startup capital for you to set up yourself and offer services to your community. The reason here is that where we have a program that actually guarantees that we develop all humans in our country, develop our youth, then we should empower everybody wherever that person finds him or herself. So if you want to become a carpenter, a mason, a plumber, an electrician, you will have the opportunity. If you want to be an entrepreneur to start up your business, there will also be an opportunity for you to do so. You will recall that when I was Minister of Trade and Industry, I did set up a small and medium enterprises fund, where we started with an initial capital of $4 million, which was at that time 16 billion loans, which we put in the commercial bank, and we gave it to traders and small businesses, startup businesses included, at 5% interest rate per annum, with a grace period of 3 months, before you start paying back. The reason why we did that was because we knew that if you want to develop the economy of this country, then you have to target that sector that impacts our people most. And we believe that small and medium enterprises actually fall into that sector. We also believe that it is very painful for our youths to come out of college and do not have a job. Many of our youths these days graduate from college but do not have a job. So what is the essence then of education if at the end of the day you do not have a sustainable means of livelihood? What we are going to do therefore is to ensure that we provide opportunities for jobs by making Sierra Leone an attractive destination for investors to come and set up businesses in country, for Sierra Leoneans to set up businesses in country, to create the jobs so that when you graduate, there will be a job waiting for you. Regrettably, for many of our students, because of the absence of jobs, because of the frustrations that are associated with student life, which oftentimes come as a result of poverty, they resort to drugs. I saw the Vice President of the Debating Society lamenting, using poetry to convey the negative effects of drugs. I saw the other young guy there demonstrating the harmful effects of push. I believe any responsible government must wage a war against drugs. Any responsible government must wage a war against drugs. And we are going to do exactly that when we come to governance in 2028. We will not allow any of our youths to be destroyed. So if we are talking about human capital development, and if we are talking about education and environmental stewardship, for me, it's about giving our youth an unfettered opportunity to actualize their potentials. What that means, therefore, is that if anybody, any youth wants to study anywhere in this country, as long as you can get admission, you should be able to have a scholarship to go and do so. And when you graduate, you should have a job to support you. And environmental stewardship. If you look around Sierra Leone, you will find out that we have totally destroyed our environment. I can see all of us sweating. I'm sweating profusely in this hall because of climate change. Many people are in denial about climate change. Many. including some presidents of some very large countries. They are in denial. But the fact is that climate change is real and we have to do something about it. So we have a responsibility to care for our environment. We have to replant the trees that have been cut. We have to replant the trees that have been cut. We have to make sure we reduce the levels of pollution. And we have to make sure we care for ourselves. So if we are talking about the future for our country, we are talking about the future for education, the future for our youth, the future for our development in this country, we have to be mindful of these things. So as youths in this university, I want to say we all have a responsibility for the future of this country. We all have a responsibility for the development of this country. We all have a role to play in our little corners to ensure that we have the development we deserve. Sierra Leone is endowed with a lot of minerals. In fact, in the past few years, we have seen minerals being discovered all over the country. Even now, when you drive from Freetown to Makeni, you will see a big mine in sight. They are just digging out and piling it up. If you go to the south, to Lutai, you will see the adverse effects of damages to our environment. If you go to Kwedu and its environment, you see the adverse effects of mining. This country has gone through these mining exercises all these years. But what is there to show for it? What is there to show for all the minerals that have been exported from this country? All we see is a degraded environment. A degraded environment, an environment in which the livelihoods of our people have been seriously compromised. The other day I was in Chonkolele, driving towards Bendogu, and I saw the adverse effects of mining, the adverse effects of environmental degradation. So one would ask whether the minerals in this country are actually a blessing to our country or a curse. How can we ensure that we make these minerals become a blessing for us as Sierra Leoneans? How do we ensure that we manage our environment, manage our resources? How do we even ensure that we add value to our natural resources before we export? Because all researches have proved that when you export anything raw, you don't get anything significant from it. But when you add value, you will have something substantial. So there's a need for government to have a policy that will ban the export of anything raw. Whether it's our minerals, whether it's our forestry products, anything whatsoever, we have to ensure that we add value in country before we export. What that will do is that it will not only mean increased revenue for our country, but it will also mean increased jobs. And when we create the jobs, we are going to attract even our brothers and our sisters that have left this country. I feel very ashamed sometimes when I see that even in Guinea, they are driving Sierra Leoneans away. Things have become so bad that Sierra Leoneans can be kicked out of Guinea. I can forgive ourselves if they kick us out of America, but not Guinea or Liberia. But we are being kicked out of these countries, all because of not being able to harness our resources well to benefit us. So, Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to say I'm really pleased to be here. But for us to note that if we want to position our country for the 21st century, then we have to start revisiting our curriculum to ensure that we have a leaning towards AI, we have a leaning towards ICT, we have a leaning towards technological development. That is only the way we can survive. And for us to know that even for us specializing in different fields, if we want to succeed in those fields, then we need to also improve our skills in ICT, improve our knowledge of AI, and learn how to utilize it. I want to thank the organizers very much for this program. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I wish our debaters very well in this debate, and I hope that together we can help make Sierra Leone a better place. We can make Unimak, indeed, the second university to challenge university. God be our helper. Thank you very much.
Good evening all. Permit me to introduce our very own, the first female chief minister, popularly known as Mama Cat, Madam Fatima Khadija Kaba, to introduce the Speaker of the House. Thank you.
Subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. The motion before now is officially discussed.